Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Hope you're having a great day. And today I wanted to talk about a new award for the NBA that I kind of came up with, kind of stole from another sport. And it is called the Silver Shooter Award. And when I say I kind of stole it from another sport, I'm talking about the MLB's Silver Slugger Award. And that's given to the best hitter at each position. So third base, best hitter in each league gets one. Shortstop, all the positions. So it's exactly like that for the NBA. It's the best offensive player at each position. And you might be thinking, well, there's all NBA teams, and you're right, but sometimes a player might make it because of his two-way value, but there might be a player at the same position who's a better offensive player. And I also looked at just a handful of all NBA teams. I don't remember exactly what years, but I would see players, say a small forward who made all NBA third team, but the forwards for the first and second team might be all power forwards. So this guy who's on the third team might be the best offensive player at his position in the league, but he didn't make the first or second all NBA team because the forward slots were filled out with power forwards. Same thing could happen with guards. So I thought it actually kind of made sense to do this. Give guys extra props for their offensive value and their offensive prowess. So yeah, that's kind of what I did. That's kind of why I wanted to do the award. Like I just said, with the All-NBA teams, people might not get the first team or second team selection, but they might be the best player at that position, or at the very least offensive player at that position. So yeah, and I went and started from the 1979 to 1980 season. I'd like to go back and do other seasons. I just, kind of picked this year, first year of the 3-point line. So I was like, all right, let's do this. So that's where I started. And a disclaimer, I did this kind of fast. I was also just looking at the stats. Offensive stats are much more useful in determining who is better, than defensive stats are. So it's not that bad, but I moved quickly. I might have missed some guys. There were some really close ones that could go either way. And I do think if these were voted on, it could be a lot better, like going forward. If people were willing to vote on these with me, then that'd be great. Or even if you wanted to go back through the seasons and vote on them, that would be better. So that's kind of a disclaimer with these awards. Some could go either way, and I might have overlooked people or something like that. But yeah, I want to share some of the results that I got and maybe share a few seasons of these awards. So some of the results that I got, we will look at the leaders of these awards. So starting off, LeBron is in first with 13. No surprise. Michael Jordan and Karl Malone have 11. Magic Johnson has 9. Larry and Kobe have 8. Dirk and Kevin Durant have 7. Hakeem, Shaq, Curry, Harden, and Giannis have 6. Hakeem could go either way, but he might have 5. Charles Barkley and Jokic have 5. Jokic could also have 6. There was a year that was close. Moses and David Robinson have 4. Moses could have more for the 70s. Kareem has 3. He could have more for the 70s. And Tim Duncan has 1. So those were notable results. It's no surprise LeBron and MJ are up there. Karl Malone, Magic. So yeah, really not a ton of surprises. David Robinson having 4. I do think I might make a video on him. I do think he's one of the more underrated players in NBA history because he had a short prime. But he has 4, so that's pretty impressive for him. Chuck having 5. I think a couple of his could have gone either way. That's impressive. Dirk has 7. So, these are kind of the obvious guys to have them. But there are some that have won a couple that were surprising. But I think these awards just add to guys' resumes. If you wanted to look at their resumes and individual accomplishments, it just adds to it. Like, Dirk Nowitzki has 1 title, Finals MVP, and a regular season MVP, and all NBA teams. And that's kind of it. He doesn't have defensive teams. He doesn't have Defensive Player of the Year. But if he added 7 of these awards, that's pretty impressive. Same with Charles Barkley. He has all NBAs and one regular season MVP, but you add 5 of these awards, it boosts his resume too. So I think it is nice for these guys to have on their resumes, and it just shows who is the best offensive player at their position each year. That's a big, big honor. And a lot of these guys actually switched positions. I did it based on what position they played the most at that year. Magic played actually his first couple years at shooting guard. I didn't even know that. Larry, KD, LeBron moved between small forward, power forward. Tim Duncan played center for like the second half of his career. He probably wouldn't have won any in that half anyway. So yeah, it does vary on their positions. Most of these guys played a single position, but not always. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. I'll just quickly read off a couple that I have here. And again, it could have gone either way. I could have overlooked guys. Some of them were tough. 04-05, I had from point guard to center, Steve Nash, Kobe, LeBron, Dirk, Amari Stoudemire. 05-06, I had Nash, Kobe, LeBron, Dirk, same thing, and Chris Bosh at the center. 06-07, I had Nash, Kobe, LeBron, Dirk. Wow, look at those guys. Amari Stoudemire at the center. 07-08, I had CP3, Kobe, LeBron, Dirk, and Amari Stoudemire. 08-09, I had CP3, Dwayne Wade, LeBron, Dirk, Chris Bosh. So, I mean, those are very similar. From like 04-05 to 2009, 2010, were like basically the same. I'll read some from the 90s here. 91-92, I had Stockton, MJ, Chris Mullin, Karl Malone, and David Robinson. 92-93, I had Mark Price, MJ, Dominique Wilkins, Chuck, and Hakeem. 93-94, I had Stockton, Reggie Miller, Dominique Wilkins, Karl Malone, David Robinson. So, there are some guys in there that these would help their resumes a lot. Amari Stoudemire, I'll gotta count these. He had 4. He had 4 of these. Chris Bosh had 3 of these, on my estimation. So take that with a grain of salt. Brooke Lopez even had one. I mean, that was kind of 2012, 2013, down year for centers. DeMarcus Cousins had 3. Karl Anthony Towns had 2. One of those could have gone to Jokic, but anyway, I don't want to ramble too much. But it is a good resume booster for some of these guys who don't have the MVPs, don't have a ton of All NBA selections. It's good for them to get their recognition. And I want to quickly look. Grant Hill, another underrated player, because he had a short prime. He had 5 of them. Again, this is according to me. So I just think this is something cool because, like I said, all NBA teams, you might have a guy on the third team, but he actually was the best player at his position. I know now positions are kind of not as solid as they once were, but I still think this is a cool award that we could possibly implement going forward. So I'll have another video about the defensive ones. It's harder to do it based on stats. I'm just gonna have to go to the all NBA or defensive teams and just kind of pick. I mean, it's so much harder for the defensive ones, but I just want to get a rough estimate. So I'm gonna do that video soon. I already started it. I still have some years to go. But anyways, let me know what you think about this award. It might be stupid. I don't know. But I just think it's cool. It's just something fun to do to further compare players if you want, or just, give some under the radar players these awards. when they might not have gotten a lot of all NBA selections. So let me know what you think. Is it dumb? Is it not? Would you vote on it, with me going forward? Let me know in the comments below. Leave a like. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.